Hello, everyone. This is Dylan Gooley from Gooley IT Services, a technology solutions provider for people in the Belmont, Scioto, and Wellsville areas of Allegany County. That's in New York State. So I did want to do a video on scams and such. I've been seeing a lot of IRS scams lately, especially since it's tax time. We tend to see those a lot. January, February, like early in the tax season, especially. Um, so just in time community bank here is one of our local banks. They sent out the sending reminders and tips to protect your finances. Uh, so community bank will never ask you to verify personal information like passwords, account numbers, or your social security number via text, direct message, or email. Then they go on with ones that apply for pretty much everything too. Trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right to you, it probably isn't. Confide in someone you trust, a friend, a family member, a neighbor, your local banker. Talking about it could help you realize it's a scam. I see this with the bank tellers too. They're definitely underrated in the fight against scammers because I have seen them thwart scams, and sometimes like the scam baiters will actually call the bank tellers and be like, "Hey, this person, this is their description. They're going to your bank right now, and they're going to be falling for a scam." And a lot of times, the bank tellers will actually tell that person, "Hey, it's a scam. Please stop this." Um, and yeah, they're the unsung heroes when it comes to these scams here. Never send money, provide personal or financial information to anyone whose identity you can't independently verify or in response to an unexpected request. Then common tactics used by scammers. They claim there's a problem or a prize. They may claim that your family member's in trouble with the law and that you owe money, or someone in your family has an emergency, or there's a virus on your computer. Tech support scammers. I help fight them. Uh, there's a problem with one of your bank accounts and you need to verify some information, or you won money in a lottery or sweepstakes, but you have to pay a fee to get it. That's a big one. Like I saw that one at work. One of the welding instructors was all hyped up that they might get some welding equipment donated to where I work there, and uh, ended up being a scam after I looked at it because they're essentially being like, well, this welding equipment's held up by this company and all that. And I'm like, they're probably going to tell you at some point that you got to pay that company. And that's, that company doesn't seem legit too. They're using like names and a random string of numbers at gmail.com or hotmail.com as their email address. And it's like, yeah, there's no way a legitimate business would do that, especially one that was actually holding up stuff for customs and stuff like that. On this one, they pretend to be from an organization you know, and a lot of times we see this, they'll pretend to be the IRS or they'll just insinuate. Uh, they won't technically say that they're from the IRS sometimes, but they'll just like allow you to assume that they are the IRS. I'll play a recording to one later on here. Or this is a big one. This is pretty much what defines scam behavior, in my opinion. They pressure you to act immediately. Like a lot of times they'll tell you not to hang up, or you might get arrested, or something might happen to a loved one, or something like that. And yeah, please don't fall for this. You're not Liam Neeson in the movie Taken. They probably won't kidnap your family member. Uh, or if you insist that you pay them in a specific way by transferring money through Zelle, Venmo, or and especially if they tell you to use those apps and they're like, well, you do it as a personal payment. There's less purchase protection and transfer protection on personal payments through those platforms. So I just wanted to go over this recording here. I'll play it, then we'll go over it. So recording now.
Message and to old messages, Tuesday, 6:34 p.m.
Hi, this is Michael. I'm calling you about your IRS tax debt. Please give us a call back. If you want these calls to stop, please text no.
And so yeah, that recording doesn't identify the business name. I did find out later on that that business has a website. I'm not necessarily going to show it because sometimes things get a little iffy if you just expose scammers on the internet and they do have a legitimate business. Sometimes they do try to bring up a lawsuit against you. That actually happened to me one time. And then also asked to text a certain word to unsubscribe or for them to stop calling. It's a landline. There's no way for them to send a text message in that case. Um, and then they're like, yeah, essentially like, we are calling about your IRS tax debt. Even though they don't technically say they are the IRS, it's just they just let people assume that. They don't be like, well, we're this tax company or whatnot. They never identified the business that they're representing. So essentially on my screen here, I have my business website. So there's things you can do to figure out like if it's a legitimate business or not. And the main thing is if you go to lookup.ican.org, um, or you just Google like ICANN who is, uh, or look up. If you have an ad one, I'd scroll down until you see this normal one that's lookup.ican.org, and that should take you to here, and you should be able to put a domain name in up at the top, and it'll tell you some of the information about it. So this is my own website, but the one thing to pay attention to is a registrant, the ISO 3166, or sometimes they'll say country code. So you can tell that I registered it in the United States, but if it says like an IS, it's Iceland. I think IN's India. Those countries don't extradite to the United States. So if the domain's registered in a country that doesn't extradite to the United States, it's an indicator that they're conducting scam-like behavior, and that's why they are operating out of a non-extraditing country, is because they know if they only victimize people in the United States or other countries that they can't be extradited usually. So yeah, those are the main things to look out for. It doesn't necessarily matter what kind of scam. Tech support scams can operate in a similar fashion, uh, but it's like verify, verify, verify. You want to make sure that the people are who they claim to be. A lot of times in more ways than one. Also, too, if they want you to act right away, a lot of times legitimate businesses or even the IRS or State Department Tax and Finance, a lot of times if you tell them like, hey, I don't have the money to pay you right now, and they're like, sure, you can do a payment plan, some interest, uh, they usually don't threaten to arrest you, at least not right away. So that's a good indicator of a scam, or the virus on your computer thing. A lot of service businesses will not cold call you and say that you have a virus on your computer. Microsoft will not cold call you and say that you have a virus on a computer. They don't care. They just make the operating system. And even though they do quite a bit of data collection in their operating system, to my knowledge, they're not informing Microsoft technicians uh, that somebody's computer has a virus, uh, or at least enough for them to call and offer services. And yeah, so if you get one of those calls, hang up, locate a decent repair company in your area, give them a call, have them do a sweep on your computer. By no means should you let a cold caller remote into your computer. That's very dangerous. You don't know what they can install on there, and a lot of times I have seen them just install malware on there and just steal their identities. One lady that I know, her bank account almost got emptied out due to one of those tech support scammers. So, yep, just be on the lookout and don't let anyone into your computer. Don't, if they cold call, just verify, verify, verify. If they try to get you to act in a hurry, take a step back, be like, well, is this really rational what I'm doing? And that's one way you can avoid scams.